From Sports Illustrated, 4 burning questions for the Browns after the NFL draft. Number 1, which pick has the best chance of making an immediate impact in 2024? Number 2, how does Jamari Thrash impact wide receiver depth chart? Number 3, the Browns didn't address tight end in the draft. Is it still something they could look to do before the start of the season? And number 4, this is the first draft. Barry didn't trade up or down. Does that represent a change in philosophy from him? Jeff, let's start with 4. I think every draft is different, and he didn't have the ammunition to move up and down.
It was 71 picks from 85 to 156. And look, you hate to be that guy that says, oh, well, Jerry Jeudy technically is part of this draft class. But you only had the 6 picks. And I think, they were going to be a victim of the way the runs work. The wide receiver run started right at the top of round 2. And then all of a sudden, after the Browns took Michael Hall, there started the runs of all the offensive tackles. And, the well was pretty much dry of guys that you thought could be contributors right away, not necessarily that the Browns needed one. Those guys were pretty much gone by the time he got to 85. I mean, we all talked about, the kid from Notre Dame, Blake Fisher, or the other Washington tackle, Roger Rosengarten, both gone. Even Kieran Amageji, the kid we all loved out of Yale, I think he went at like 64, and that was 20 picks away. That would have cost the Browns, I don't even know if they would have been able to go from 85 to 64 with what they had left without giving up a 2025 pick, and he certainly wasn't going to do that. But I think, like you said, it's, everybody, you can't just think that it's always going to be the same thing every single year. They haven't had a first-round pick in years, and you know what? It hasn't really affected them because they've put themselves in the position to go into each and every draft when they haven't had a first-round pick saying, we can't count on drafting starters if we're starting our draft in the 50s. And true to his word, he was able to get all those needs addressed, so we didn't have to go in there and trade up and risk future assets, or even trying to grab a kid and put him in an unenviable position of coming in to a veteran team that they expect to make the playoffs, that they expect to compete in the playoffs, and looking at this rookie and saying, you got to go in there, you got to be the starter, we need you right away from day one.
Tight end, do you think they need something? I think they need more, but I don't know.
If now you keep in mind last year, there were 2 significant moves the Cleveland Browns made after the draft. Certainly one of them was Darius Smith. One of them a little bit later, well, actually, technically 2, Shelby Harris, Rodney McLeod. Can we find some way? Is the 31 other teams in the NFL, is somebody got a tight end that they are possibly, maybe looking to move? Because I think the Browns certainly would be interested. The Browns did bring in a undrafted free agent tight end at Wyoming. I was actually talking with his agent yesterday. And I was like, this must have been a slam dunk for you guys. He's like, yeah, we had several offers. He's like, but we kind of looked at the Browns depth chart at the tight end spot and said, look, this looks like a roster, that as long as he goes in and he performs and, like he thinks he's capable of, he should be able to be that rare UDFA that's going to come right in, make the roster, and possibly, get reps right out of the gate. It's not obvious. I mean, I'm sorry, it's pretty obvious. It's not hiding to anybody. I mean, David Njoku was a fantastic tight end last year. But, I mean, that room after David Njoku right now it's a big, big issue. I thought Ben Sinnott would be the tight end that they would want. Unfortunately, Ben Sinnott went 53rd to the Washington Commanders.
Who do you think? I'm guessing Hall is the rookie you think that has the ability to make an impact?
Well, you look at it that way for me, because the other thing is something bad would happen if it most likely was going to be someone else like Zach Zinter or Jamari Thrash. Something bad probably would have happened if one of those guys. Look, Michael Hall can come in. It's a small role, but to think Michael Hall can come in and maybe get you 3, 4, 5 sacks, these defensive linemen are going to get a lot of reps. If the Browns are winning games like everybody expects them to, the middle linebacker comes off the field, and then next Jordan Hicks is going to come off the field, and it's going to be DBs, JOK, and it's going to be pass rushers, and they're just going to go, and Schwartz is going to put them out there sometimes for maybe 2 reps, maybe 3 reps, and then you know what? There's no reason for you to take a 4th rep. Even if you're not that tired, I'll get you 100% almost as every rep as I possibly can, because I have the depth to do so. So, but yeah, you would think it's probably most likely Michael Hall. And the thing would be is if he goes out there and gets a little success early, look, like I said, they're not married to the rest of that room technically long term. So if Mike Hall hits the ground running, they're going to have no problem saying, well, let's see what the kid's got and, give him some more reps.
What did you think of the Zach Zinter thing? I liked it. I think if he doesn't break his leg, I don't think there's any way he's around at that pick.
It kind of worked out. And remember, we talked about this when they signed Jermaine Ifedi. I said, is this going to be something now where maybe they would have a little more interest than guard as opposed to tackle? We all thought tackle was going to be the way, but you signed a veteran offensive tackle. Zinter, though, came from the Michigan program. And one thing you like is a winning program. Obviously, had a quality career while he was there. Did get hurt, unfortunately, in the Ohio State game. And unfortunately enough, the coincidence that it was Michael Hall. Probably a great way to, say hey, hello to your new coworker for the next 4 years. But with injury comes in here. And look, we know where Joel is at age-wise. Wyatt is obviously younger, but Wyatt makes a lot of money. Certainly, when Wyatt Teller is at his best, he is worth every dime that that he's getting paid. But you have to look and to think that we've gone 4 years with this guard tandem, which is now going to be 5 years. To think that maybe it'd be 6, you got to think it's probably not going to happen for one reason or the other that we just don't know yet. So you get Zinter in here, he gets to work right away. And it isn't a bad, probably, thing for Zach Zinter to go to work every day and learn from a possible, most likely, left guard who's going to go to the Hall of Fame. And Wyatt Teller, who went from a guy who was a former 6th-round pick, put his nose to the ground, worked his butt off, got bigger, faster, stronger, did everything he possibly could, and took himself from a day 3 pick to a Pro Bowl player who makes $12 to $13 million a year. It's a great situation for Zinter to be in.